Mid90s is written and directed by Jonah Hill, and it's actually his first movie to direct.
Yeah, this movie stars Sonny Sujic, Lucas Hedges, Nakel Smith, and Olin Prinett. And this film is about a 13-year-old boy named Stevie who has a very hard life at home with his abusive brother, and who he never really seems to connect with, as well as he never really seems to feel at place in his house or anywhere in life. And he ends up walking into a group of kids who love skateboarding, and he begins to have this fascination with skateboarding, and so he starts to befriend these kids. A24, I try to see as many movies as I can from them, because usually all their movies are of good quality, or at least they have really great things about them that other movies don't have. And also I was really excited to see Jonah Hill directing his first film. This movie, I felt like was good. I felt it was actually a pretty good movie. One thing I actually really do like about this movie is the acting. The acting is really good overall. It does have its few moments, I feel like, that aren't the best of acting, but overall it's really good acting.
Yeah, especially considering their a lot of them are like not really actors. It's like their first thing to ever be in. Which is, I can't remember which actors exactly that was, but even actors who have been on stuff before, they haven't been on much.
Yeah.
But like you said in the beginning, the fact that it was an A24 movie and that this is Jonah Hill's first movie directing, those were probably my only two factors that were making me want to see this movie at all. Because honestly, the trailers didn't really interest me that much.
Yeah.
The format that they had it, I think they filmed it all in like a 16 millimeter.
Yeah.
So it's like, it looks old timey. It looks like something that's actually from the 90s.
Yeah.
And that sort of interested me, but really nothing about the story really interested me. But so coming into it, I didn't really know what to expect, but I did like it. I'm not gonna say I loved it, and it's not a horrible movie either, but it is what it is, I guess. That's the way to say it.
Yeah. One really big thing to know when you go into this movie is, well, first of all, I'll say this. If you saw the trailers and you liked what you saw in the trailers, you're most likely going to like this movie. If you didn't really like what you saw in the trailers, you're probably not going to like this movie, because this movie, the trailers are pretty decently straightforward in what you're going to get in this movie. It's a really real movie.
That's real, right?
This movie reminded me a lot of Calling by Your Name, which they're two completely different movies, but overall, because both these movies have this thing where you're kind of almost just watching people, you know? Mm-hmm. Like you're really just watching just people walking around, you know? And so that's the feeling you get. You never really get that much extreme drama or any big scenes. You only see people being people. I really feel like Calling by Your Name did it better, quite a bit, because in Calling by Your Name, they never really had that many of dramatic scenes, and this one did have a few kind of dramatic scenes, and that was one of my bigger issues with this movie, is how they went with those dramatic scenes.
Yeah, the movie that this sort of reminded me of was kind of Lady Bird.
Yeah.
To where it's like a kid who's trying to fit in, and so it has sort of a realistic tone to, like you were talking about. But I think the difference between these two movies, Lady Bird and this one, Mid90s, is that Lady Bird, it felt realistic, but at the same time you could feel like momentum moving the story along.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say this movie was just stagnant throughout the whole time.
Yeah.
You could see a progression in Stevie's character, but at the same time it didn't really feel like there's like a story moving forward.
Which to me isn't necessarily like a big horrible thing about this movie, because Jonah Hill, which this movie showed promise of Jonah Hill directing, not only because of the direction I saw, but because it was obvious that Jonah Hill had his mindset on what he wanted.
Yeah, and I actually saw in an interview where he talked about how even though he wasn't really good at it when he was little, skateboarding was the thing that sort of that he found that really made him feel like he fit in the world. Yeah. So that's why he wanted this movie to be his first movie to make, is because he had that passion towards and that personal connection towards skateboarding, and you can really see that that passion in this movie.
And that's really one of the best things is his directing with this film. A lot of the cinematography of this movie is beautiful, but I will say the best thing about Jonah Hill's direction with this movie, about how he's set on what he wanted and how he really just wanted this to almost feel like a documentary, which I don't know if he said that ever, but it really felt like he just wanted this to seem like a documentary,
Right.
almost. But I almost felt like it's where it came to a fault. Because like you said, this movie never really felt like it had any momentum going through it the entire time. Like it did have, like you said, there was a progression of things, but there was never really any striving force through it.
Yeah.
You know, I felt like there were some dramatic scenes. There was maybe one or two scenes. They weren't really dramatic. They're more like someone getting mad at each other, right? Mm-hmm. And in real life, sometimes you get mad at somebody, and you may kind of bring it up. But not. Sometimes you may not ever bring it up, and sometimes you may bring it up a little bit and never again, and just like you're done, right? And so this movie does that to where there's a lot of kind of small plot points that they kind of throw away really, really quickly, almost to where you never really feel that resolution that you were wanting to feel between characters. This movie has an overall feeling of a resolution at the very end of this movie. It's a really kind of cool resolution, but overall, you don't really get to feel these characters growing and their relationships growing between each other, other than Stevie with the other kids. A few more things that I really loved about this movie is towards the end, there's a pretty big scene. It's probably the climax of the film. I really loved how that it was done. It wasn't anything showy. It just got straight to the point, and I love that about this. Another thing about this movie is throughout this movie, Stevie's hanging out with these kids, and you don't really know what to think of them, right? Even the mom is really scared about what Stevie's doing, who he's hanging out with, because these kids, they just kind of seem like these, like almost like, she even says gang members, you know? Mm-hmm. But one thing that's really great about this film is they really do show who people can be, right? And why people are the way they are. People can be these really messed up people, almost. These people who damaged people, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a reason for all of it. There's a reason why some of them will drink all the time or do drugs all the time. You know, there's people that are really poor in this life, but nobody ever wants to show these things. And I really do like how they convey that with these characters.
And also, as a side note, Owen Prentitt's character, which is sort of an inappropriate name, but he throughout the whole movie, he reminded me a lot of Stephen Curry with the really long hair.
Yeah. Oh, and one big thing I want to like warn everybody about: there's a kind of awkward scene in the party. There's a party scene in this movie, and it's a very awkward scene. That's understandable of why it's in there, but I feel like it kind of should have cooled down a little bit.
Yeah, it got a little awkward.
I didn't feel
how long it lasted.
I didn't feel too comfortable being in the theater at that time.
Now for the IMDb questions. Well, question is only one. Number one, who was originally cast but dropped out due to scheduling conflicts and was replaced by Catherine Watterson, which is the mom, Stevie's mom? A. Marissa Tomei, B. Naomi Watts, C. Michelle Williams, or D. Claire Danes?
I don't know. Maybe Michelle Williams. She seems like a person who's doing these kind of movies at this point.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Which the sad thing is, she's probably filming Venom.
Oh. that's very sad. Well, guys, for my kind of closing responses, I will say, even though we did have a lot of negatives to say, I don't think this is a bad movie. I actually did like it. I actually did really enjoy it. I think it was a pretty good movie. Go and go see it. It's a harmless movie. You'll have fun. I might not ever actually see this movie again. I don't see myself watching it unless for some reason someone wants me to watch it with them. I'm going to say that Mid90s is 83% awesome.
At the core of this movie, I do think it was a decent film. I do like the message that skateboarding is what brought all these people, these boys together, even though they're all from all different age ranges, all different races. It's what brought them together and what made them feel like they fit in. I did like that message. I do like the characters, the way they talked, how they fit in with everybody else. It's just there's nothing really like that great that was like made me go wow at this movie. I'm gonna say that Mid90s is 80% awesome.
Well, guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, comment and let us know what you thought about Mid90s. If you liked it a lot, I completely understand. If you hated it, I actually understand that as well. Also, I'm really looking forward to a trailer I saw of this movie called Climax. It's another A24 movie. That's a dance movie. And
I have no idea what it's about.
I don't know what it's about either, but I'm really looking at it. I'm looking forward to most A24 movies, and this one, I don't know. I'll go watch it. I'm excited about it. I don't know why.
And don't forget to follow us on social media with Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at 2 Awesome Men.
And as always, thank you so much for watching, and you will see us later.